So moving on to specialised cells, this is a paper 2 topic. These are when you take one of those kind of basic generalised cell and specialise it so that it can do a particular function. And you're going to come across quite a few different types of specialised cells in the GCSE course, things like red blood cells, guard cells in plants, nerve cells in humans for the nervous system, and root hair cells in plants which absorb water in the roots. Now, let's take it back a little bit and think about how we all started off life, which is as one single cell formed from the sperm and the egg called a zygote. Now that was a general basic cell, but that cell divided and divided and divided and divided over and over again. And those cells then had to start specializing. We call that process differentiation, when a cell becomes specialized to do a particular job. And there's actually 250 types of special cells that you need to build a human. Now there's some very special cells, like those initial ones that you started life as, called stem cells, which are undifferentiated. They don't have a job yet, but they have the ability to specialize and become other cells. You can get them from embryos, because like I just said, embryos are usually made of these cells that are going to turn into any one of these 250 types of cells. They're amazing cells if you can get those embryonic stem cells, as we call them, because they can turn into any cell. You can find them in adults in places like the bone marrow, but these can't turn into any type of cell. They're slightly limited. They can't turn into all 250 types, and they're pretty hard to get hold of. Why are they useful? Why would we be interested in finding these cells and getting these cells? Why are stem cells helpful? Well, what you can do is you can take them back to a lab and you can clone them. You can get lots more of them. And then you can start to get them to differentiate and specialize into whatever type of cell you want. And you can use those in medicine or for research. So you might use them in medicine to actually treat people. This is what we call stem cell therapy. So some people have been injected with their own stem cells in order to repair damaged tissues. Places like the eyes, people who have got blindness and their retina doesn't work, you inject stem cells into there that regenerate the retina cells and differentiate into new retina cells for them, and they can get their vision back. So there's been really exciting science going on there. The thought is that we might be able to use these to regenerate nervous tissue and the spinal cord to heal paralysis, or potentially in the future we could even grow whole organs for people. So when people's organs fail, instead of trying to get a donor organ, what you could do is take some of their stem cells and use those to grow them a whole new organ in a lab to put into them, and therefore they've got no chance of rejecting that organ. Now, there is a lot of debate surrounding stem cell research. It's really to do with where the majority of the stem cells come from, which is from human embryos. And a lot of people believe that human embryos are a human life and should have full human rights, and therefore we shouldn't be using them for experiments. Some people would get worried that they can get contaminated with a virus by dealing with them in a lab. If they don't get inserted properly, they can lead to cancers. So people believe that stem cell research is okay, but not using embryos. We shouldn't be using embryos. Other people say, well, actually, there's loads of embryos left over from fertility treatment that people have, and they just get discarded, thrown away, disposed of. So what's the problem with using those embryos? And other people say, well, actually, maybe it's not ideal to use embryos, but hold on a second, the amount of potential diseases we could cure from this research is more important than the rights of an embryo.